Before you close this video, pause. You are here because something in you refuses to give up. Not luck, not algorithm, divine appointment. I have watched you carry weights no one sees, fight battles no one knows, survive nights that nearly broke you today. The silence ends. What I reveal will require courage, but you have already proven you have it. The fire in your chest that will not die is not restlessness. It is recognition. Your spirit knows what your mind has forgotten before you drew breath. I chose you for something the world needs but cannot name. Jeremiah thought he was too young, I said. I knew you before your mother did. Moses thought he could not speak. I said, I will give you words that move nations. You think you are not enough, I say. You are exactly who I need. What you call suffering, I call surgery. Every loss removed what would have poisoned your future. Every betrayal revealed who could not walk where you are going. Every closed door protected you from paths that would have destroyed the very thing I am building in you. This was never punishment. This was preparation for a life your current understanding cannot yet hold. If you feel the weight of this truth, go to the pinned comment and sow a blessing, not as ritual, as response. Let your blessing be your yes to what you have been running from. Heaven moves when you stop negotiating and start surrendering. Joseph spent 13 years between the pit and the palace, 13 years of slavery and false accusation. But when Pharaoh's dream needed interpretation, only Joseph carried the answer. Why? Because the pit taught him about darkness. Prison taught him about injustice. And in that knowledge, he could save nations from famine. Your pain is not random. It is forming in you the exact medicine others are dying for. You asked why the process takes so long, because what I am building must outlast you. Quick blessings create shallow roots. The oak that survives the hurricane is the one that spent decades driving roots deep when no one was watching. David did not go from shepherd to king overnight. He spent years running from Saul, hiding in caves, leading broken men who became mighty warriors. The wilderness was not wasted time. It was where the king learned that true power comes from dependence on me, not independence from me. I see you comparing your timeline to others. Stop. Abraham waited 25 years for Isaac. Moses was 80 when the burning bush spoke. The disciples walked with me 3 years and still did not understand until after the resurrection. You are not late. You are right on time for a story that will make sense only when you see how every piece fits. Go to the pinned comment and plant a seed of blessing, not because I need your obedience, but because your obedience unlocks what your striving never could. The Red Sea did not part until Moses stretched out his hand. Your breakthrough is tied to your movement, not your understanding. Let me tell you what the accuser has been whispering, that you are disqualified, that you have failed too many times, that the shame is permanent. But I use cracked vessels because they let my light shine through. Rahab was a prostitute. I put her in the lineage of Jesus. David was an adulterer and murderer. I called him a man after my own heart. Peter denied me 3 times. I gave him the keys to the kingdom. Your past is not your prison. It is your credential. You know what mercy feels like because you needed it desperately. The woman at the well had 5 husbands and was living with a 6th man. Society said she was worthless. I met her at noon when no one else was there and told her everything she ever did. She became the first evangelist to her city, not in spite of her story, because of it. The ones who have been forgiven much, love much. Your brokenness qualifies you for the assignment. It does not disqualify you. Sow your blessing in the pinned comment if you sense something breaking open inside you. This is not emotional manipulation. This is spiritual activation. The stones that have blocked your well are being rolled away right now. But I must warn you, the enemy will fight hardest right before your breakthrough. When the Israelites were at the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army behind them, it looked like the worst moment. It was actually the setup for the greatest miracle. When Lazarus died and sat in the tomb 4 days, it looked like I was late. But I was right on time for a resurrection that would make people believe. Your current impossibility is not evidence that I forgot you. It is the stage for a miracle that will require no explanation except me. Paul had a thorn in the flesh. 3 times he begged me to remove it. I said no, not to punish him, but to teach him that my grace is sufficient and my power is perfected in weakness. What you think is your limitation might be the very thing I am using to keep you dependent on me. The moment you think you can do it alone is the moment you stop needing me. And you were made for union, not independence. Let me address the mental battlefield. You wake up with anxiety. You fight intrusive thoughts. You question everything about yourself, but take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. When Nehemiah was rebuilding the wall and enemies mocked him, he said, "I am doing a great work and cannot come down." You are doing a great work. Do not come down to fight battles I already won at the cross. The battle is not yours, it is mine. Your job is to stand firm and watch me fight. Release your blessing in the pinned comment if your mind has been a war zone. Let your blessing be the white flag that ends the war. Peace I give you. Not as the world gives, but peace that surpasses understanding, the kind that makes no sense given your circumstances but comes anyway because I am with you. Some of you are in the holding pattern, not moving forward, not falling back, suspended, frustrated. But when a plane is in the air, it is not falling. It is positioned. You are not stuck. You are being held at the right altitude until the runway clears. The Israelites stood at the Red Sea for hours before it parted. That was not delay. That was allowing Pharaoh's army to get close enough that when the sea closed, everyone would know it was not coincidence. It was me. Think of the widow of Zarephath. She was down to her last meal. One more handful of flour. One more drop of oil. Elijah said, "Make me a cake first." It made no sense, but she obeyed, and the flour and oil did not run out until the drought ended. Your obedience in the moment that makes no sense is the hinge point. Sow a blessing in the pinned comment even when it feels foolish. Especially when it feels foolish. That is when faith becomes sight. Let me speak to those carrying other people's burdens until you are empty. You have become the strong one by default. But come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. You were not made to carry it all. You were made to carry it with me. Plant your seed of blessing in the pinned comment if you are exhausted. Let me redistribute the weight. I am sending people who will carry you the way you have carried them. Elijah thought he was the only one left, I said. I have 7,000 who have not bowed to Baal. You are not as alone as you think. Now I want to talk to those in seasons of hiddenness. You feel invisible, forgotten, on the shelf. But hiddenness is not punishment. It is preparation. David killed a lion and a bear in private before he killed Goliath in public. Joseph managed a prison before he managed a nation. Esther was hidden in a harem before she saved her people. The anointing is formed in secret before it is revealed in public. What I do in you during hiding determines what I do through you during harvest. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before the burning bush. 40 years of leading sheep prepared him to lead people. What looks like wasted time is actually training ground. You think you are behind. I say you are right on schedule for a testimony that will require the exact number of years you spent in the dark to make sense of the light. Release a blessing in the pinned comment if you have been hidden. Let the secret place shape you without resentment. Champions are not made on stage. They are made in obscurity where no one is watching except me. I also see those waiting for prayers to be answered. You have prayed for years. Nothing has changed, but your prayers are not lost. They are kept in golden bowls before my throne like incense. Anna prayed in the temple every day for decades before she saw the Messiah. But when he came, she was the one who recognized him. The waiting was not wasted. It was what trained her eyes to see what others missed. Hannah prayed in anguish for a son for years. Nothing. Then Samuel, and Samuel became the prophet who anointed kings. Zechariah and Elizabeth prayed for a child into old age. Then John the Baptist, who prepared the way for me. The delay was not denial, it was development. What I am preparing is worth the wait because it will serve more than just you. Sow your blessing in the pinned comment if you have been waiting. Let your blessing be renewed faith. Let it be the declaration that even if you never see the answer, you trust me anyway. That is the faith that moves me. Not the faith that demands proof, but the faith that trusts in the dark. Let me address those who have walked through fire. The 3 Hebrew boys stood before the furnace and said, "Even if you do not save us, we will not bow." That is the faith that gets you promoted in the flames. When the king looked into the furnace, he saw 4 men walking around unharmed. The 4th looked like the Son of God. That was me. I was with them in the fire. You did not burn. The fire only burned the ropes. You came out freer than you went in. Gold is purified at 1500 degrees. Impurities rise to the surface and are skimmed off. What remains is pure. You are not damaged by what you survived. You are refined. The fire removed what was not supposed to go with you into your next season. You are more valuable now than you were before the trial. Go to the pinned comment and release a blessing if you survived the fire. Let your blessing be proof that the furnace did not win. Let it be testimony that you came out smelling like victory, not smoke. Finally, to those paralyzed by fear of the call, you know I am asking something of you, but fear keeps you frozen. Gideon was hiding when I called him mighty warrior. He said, "If you are with us, why has this happened?" Fear made him question my presence, but I did not disqualify him. I worked with him through it. I gave him signs. I reduced his army from 32,000 to 300 so he would know the victory was mine. Not his. Your inadequacy is my opportunity. Your weakness is where my strength shows up. I do not need your competence. I need your obedience, Moses said. I stutter, I said. I will be with your mouth, Jeremiah said. I am only a child, I said. Do not say that. Wherever I send you, you will go. Stop waiting to feel ready. Obedience makes you ready. Let me tell you something about the process you are in. You want the promise without the process. You want the crown without the cross. But the tomb comes before the resurrection. The Red Sea comes before the promised land. The valley of the shadow of death comes before the table in the presence of your enemies. You cannot skip steps I designed to develop you. Job lost everything. His children, his wealth, his health. His wife said, "Curse God and die." His friends said, "You must have sinned." But Job said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." And when it was over, I restored to Job double what he lost. Not just because he endured, but because the process transformed him before the trial. He knew about me. After the trial, he knew me. There is a difference between second-hand knowledge and first-hand encounter. When Joshua stood at Jericho, I did not tell him to build siege equipment. I told him to march and worship. For 6 days, nothing happened. On the 7th day, the walls fell. The strategy made no sense. That was the point. When the victory comes in a way that defies logic, everyone knows it was me. I get glory. You get breakthrough. That is how kingdom works. Sow your blessing in the pinned comment if you are in a process that makes no sense. Let your blessing be trust when you cannot trace me. Let it be surrender when you cannot see the next step. Abraham did not know where he was going, but he went. That is the faith that pleases me. I want to speak to those wrestling with identity. You have believed lies about who you are for so long that truth sounds foreign. But you are not what happened to you. You are not what they said about you. You are not even what you did in your darkest moment. You are who I say you are. I call you chosen, set apart, holy, beloved, redeemed, justified, sanctified. My child, the enemy wants you to build your identity on your worst day. I want you to build it on what I accomplished on my worst day. The cross was the worst day in human history and the best day at the same time. Your worst moment does not define you. My finished work does. It is finished means the debt is paid. The shame is canceled. The guilt is removed. You are free, but freedom does not mean the absence of struggle, Paul said. I die daily. Freedom means you have the power to choose again. Every morning you wake up and decide, will I believe the lies or the truth? Will I live from my wounds or my healing? Will I be defined by what I lost or what I gained in Christ? This is the battle, and it happens in the mind before it shows up in your life. Plant a seed of blessing in the pinned comment if you are fighting for your identity. Let your blessing be agreement with what I say about you, not what the enemy whispers. You are mine. That is the only label that matters. Now let me address those who feel like they have been faithful in small things forever, and promotion never comes. Remember the parable of the talents. The master gave one servant 5 talents, another 2, another 1. The one with 5 gained 5 more. The one with 2 gained 2 more. But the one with 1 buried it in fear. When the master returned, he said to the faithful ones, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master." Promotion is not about what you have. It is about what you do with what you have. Joseph managed a prison before he managed a nation. David managed sheep before he managed a kingdom. If you cannot be faithful with what is in front of you now, I cannot trust you with what you are asking for. Faithfulness in obscurity is the test for visibility. But understand this: kingdom promotion is not worldly success. It is greater responsibility, more weight, deeper dependence on me. When I promote you, I am not giving you a lighter load. I am giving you a stronger back. The anointing increases with the assignment. The grace expands with the calling. You will not carry it alone. I will carry it with you. Sow a blessing in the pinned comment if you have been faithful in small things. Let your blessing be readiness for more, not just more blessing, but more responsibility. Let it be your yes to the weight that comes with the calling. Some of you are being called into the promised land, but you are terrified of the giants. When the 12 spies went into Canaan, 10 saw giants. 2 saw opportunity, 10 said, "We cannot." 2 said, "We are well able." The difference was not the size of the giants. The difference was the size of their God in their eyes. If I am small to you, everything else will be big. If I am big to you, everything else will be small. Goliath stood 9 feet tall. He had armor and weapons. David had a sling and 5 stones. But David said, "You come at me with sword and spear, but I come at you in the name of the Lord." And Goliath fell with 1 stone. Not because David was skilled, though he was, but because David knew who he represented. You do not fight for victory. You fight from victory. The battle belongs to me. When the walls of Jericho fell, it was not because the Israelites had better weapons. It was because they obeyed a strategy that made no sense. March and worship for 6 days, nothing. On the 7th day, everything. If I told you to do something that looked foolish, would you do it? Or would you need it to make sense first? Faith obeys before understanding. Trust acts before seeing. Release your blessing in the pinned comment if you are facing giants. Let your blessing be confidence not in your ability but in mine. Let it be the declaration that the battle is not yours. It is mine. Let me talk to those trapped in cycles you cannot break. Addiction, anxiety, depression, toxic patterns. You have tried everything: therapy, medication, willpower, and still the cycle repeats. You are not weak, you are human, and some chains are too strong for human hands to break, but not for mine. What is impossible with man is possible with God. The man at the pool of Bethesda had been paralyzed for 38 years. I asked him, "Do you want to be healed?" He started making excuses. "No one helps me into the pool. Someone always gets there first." But I did not ask for excuses. I asked for willingness. When he said yes, I said, "Get up, take your mat and walk." And he did. The miracle was not gradual. It was immediate. Because when I speak, things that were dead come alive. Some of you need to hear this. The healing you need will not come from where you have been looking. It will come from surrender, from finally admitting you cannot do this alone, from crying out in desperation instead of managing in silence. I am not looking for polished prayers. I am looking for honest hearts. The tax collector who beat his chest and said, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner," went home justified. The Pharisee who listed his good deeds did not. Brokenness is the door to breakthrough. Go to the pinned comment and sow a blessing if you are trapped in a cycle. Let your blessing be surrender, not to the cycle, but to me. Let it be the honest cry that you cannot do this alone anymore. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. I also need to speak to those who have been hurt by the church, by leaders who failed you, by people who used my name to control you, by religion that felt like prison instead of freedom. I see you, and I am not them. They represent a distorted version of me, but I am the one who flipped tables when religious leaders abused their power. I am the one who called Pharisees whitewashed tombs. I am the one who sat with sinners and made religious people uncomfortable. Do not let broken people keep you from me. Judas betrayed me, Peter denied me, Thomas doubted me, and I still loved them. Your hurt is valid, your anger is understandable, but do not let what they did keep you from what I offer: healing, restoration, freedom. Come to me, not to an institution. Come to me, not to a system. Come to me. Plant your seed of blessing in the pinned comment if the church hurt you. Let your blessing be willingness to separate me from the people who misrepresented me. Let it be your declaration that you will not let human failure keep you from divine love. Finally, let me speak about legacy. You think your life is small, that your story does not matter. But I work through generations. Abraham was faithful. Isaac received the blessing. Jacob wrestled with me. Joseph saved nations, 4 generations. One promise: your faithfulness today is setting up breakthrough for people you will never meet. Your obedience now is paving roads your children will walk on. Your prayers today are answering questions your grandchildren will ask. Esther was in the palace for such a time as this. She did not know she was being positioned to save an entire nation. You do not see the full picture, but I do, and I am positioning you for such a time as this. Your presence in that job is not random. Your influence in that relationship is not coincidence. You are there on purpose for a purpose. Do not despise small beginnings. The mustard seed is the smallest of seeds, but it becomes a tree where birds nest. Leaven is invisible, but it changes the entire batch of dough. You think your life is insignificant. I think your life is strategic. You are exactly where I need you. Plant your seed of blessing in the pinned comment one final time. Let your blessing be your yes even with trembling. Let it be your step even with fear. I do not need you fearless. I need you faithful. Fear and faith can coexist. The question is which one you obey. Remember this moment. You are not waiting for glory to arrive. You are walking in it. You are not on the sidelines. You are in the game. From this day forward, everything changes. But before you go, sow your blessing in the pinned comment below. Let it be your mark. Let it be the moment you stopped running and started trusting. Heaven is watching. Angels are waiting. Your future is listening. Release your blessing now.